the plan for Iowa, and maybe how this compares a little bit to 2008 and the differences you see 4 years later.
Okay, are we live, Steve, at this time?
Yes, we're live. Dr. Paul, can you tell us how this compares to maybe 4 years ago?
Well, from my viewpoint, it's dramatically different. It's different for the campaign, but I think it's different for the country. The country is quite a bit concerned about those issues that I've been talking about for a long time, and they were just becoming noticeable, in 2007, 2008. So the dramatic difference occurred when the housing bubble burst, and many in this country came to realize that there truly was a financial bubble, and we've been suffering the consequence ever since. So now many people who thought that we were alarmists before now are saying, well, maybe we should have listened to you. So it's much easier to get volunteers, much easier to get interest, much easier to raise money. And our numbers are growing, and even the public perception is quite different. The perception, in the media, and it takes a bit to get a fair treatment in the media when you want to, talk about the Constitution and really limiting government. So I see it dramatically different. I'm very, very pleased that things are going well. I just wish Washington would do a little bit better, because so far we haven't seen any real good changes in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like there's a different dynamic now, as far as the welcoming fact we've got from people in the Republican parties, people who are, coming out to vote, and people who are independents. And it definitely seems like, the dynamic has shifted your way. Could you speak a little bit about that? I mean, do you feel like when you talk to people, they say, yeah, 3-4 years ago, I thought this way, but now, this is how I'm feeling, or are you really got me energized?
Yeah, I noticed it gradual, but for quite a few years, but it was dramatic here in the last 4 years. I actually thought that maybe after the last campaign was over, that things would settle down and they wouldn't pay much attention to what we were talking about. But surprisingly enough to me, the momentum kept growing, and more people joined us. Even in my own congressional district, I remember taking some of these strong stands which had to challenge the President Bush, because he was from Texas and always remained very popular. But so many of his positions, whether it was doubling the size of the Department of Education or having another medical program, prescription drug programs, or the wars that we were involved, the average person in Texas, especially Republican conservatives, were very uncomfortable. I think they were more confused. But over the years, they gradually came to realize that we were going in the wrong direction, and we were going the same way that many of the liberal Democrats were taking us. But that has accelerated here, in the last 3 years. And even today, I think, whether I'm traveling all through Iowa or New Hampshire, where I'm spending most of my time, the numbers that are coming out are really pleasing us and surprising us. I think each trip we make up into Iowa, we're very pleased with the numbers of people that come out, and they're new people too. It's not, it's always nice to talk to the choir, and we're always pleased, but we need to talk to more, and I think that's what's happening. But we still have a long way to go to reach the total number of people that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're just joining the call, we're here with Congressman Ron Paul running for president, and Iowa State Chairman Drew Ivers. If you'd like to get a ticket for the Iowa straw poll in Ames on August 13th, please press 7 right now, and you'll be routed to a live staffer working in the office right now. Dr. Paul, as far as the dynamic you've seen in the debates, obviously you gained a lot of national attention when you kind of had that back and forth with Rudy Giuliani. Do you get a sense from people now that they respect you a little bit more? No one has come out yet in the debate and directly attacked you. In fact, they're kind of saying the same thing that you've been saying for maybe 3 or 4 years just as president, and for many years as an individual. What kind of interaction do you have with people on the debates with the candidates?
Well, in the debates 4 years ago, they would use my name and challenge me like Giuliani did, but others did it too, and a lot of times it was laughing or snickering, and then sometimes we'd even get boos. And people said, did that bother you? I thought nobody likes that, but I always understood it. But the last, we've had 2 debates already, and they do acknowledge me now, but they're not acknowledging it sometime, in a very polite manner, or they'll just acknowledge that the positions that they're holding have sort of changed, like maybe we should start bringing these troops home, and we are really in a mess. Maybe we ought to do this, and so I think there's no doubt there's a difference, and when you think about in the in-between years from 08 up until now, the major media, especially Fox, which wasn't always going out of their way to help me, they've been very interested in having me on their programs and talking about the economy. And even so, in recent months, they're actually allowing me to talk a little bit about foreign policy as well.
Excellent, excellent. We're on the call right now with Dr. Ron Paul, running for president, and Drew Ivers, Iowa campaign chairman. We're talking about the campaign here in Iowa, specifically the Ames straw poll on August 13th, which is a Saturday. If you'd like to get a ticket for the Iowa straw poll, we're giving tickets to supporters for a greatly discounted rate. Please press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you out, and then you'll get put right back in the call. Dr. Paul, the last question before we get started, regarding the campaign trail in Iowa and New Hampshire, as far as the toll that a presidential race takes on someone, you've been able to handle it pretty well. Not only are you a sitting congressman, but you're running for president. How would you say that you best deal with that? Would you say that it has a lot to do with just preparation beforehand? Are you used to it now because you've done it 4 years prior? How can you kind of get through the day-to-day grind of it?
Well, I think the biggest thing that gives me the energy to do it is my determination and my being convinced that what we're doing is very, very important. And a lot of people think, well, Ron Paul's doing this and that, and it really isn't. It's just me delivering a message that somebody else has devised over the years, and I'm delivering this message, but I'm really enthusiastic. And if you're enthusiastic like that mentally, you can get some physical enthusiasm too. But I also am encouraged by the many people that come out and support me, and I've said many times that this is especially true in the younger generation. And, recently I got a real boost, and a lot more enthusiasm came into the campaign when we found out that we had much more than twice as many donations from active military duties than all the other candidates put together, and more than even the president has had. So these things all are very helpful. I think there's a bit of a physical endurance that you need as well, and both as an individual that did a lot of athletics as well as understanding medicine and some good practical health habits, I'm pretty determined to stay in good condition. So it's not even some of these very, very busy days that are campaigning that I don't get my exercise in. And exercise is very important to me, both mentally and physically.
Excellent. Well, we're on the call this evening with Dr. Ron Paul, a presidential candidate, and Drew Ivers, Iowa campaign chairman. And as we start, just want to remind everyone that if you have not yet reserved your ticket for the Iowa straw poll, it really is imperative. It's a big determining factor in determining the strength of early campaigns. If you want, you can press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staffer who can take care of that for you and get that ticket, and then you'll put you right back in the call, and you can listen to Dr. Paul and Drew. I'd like to introduce Drew Ivers. Drew Ivers is the Iowa campaign chairman here in Iowa, and he's been involved in a number of campaigns over the years. And so far, he's successfully helped Dr. Paul establish a very solid presence here in Iowa, not only over the last 3 years, but certainly going forward. So I'll let Drew Ivers speak a little bit on the Iowa straw poll, and then he will introduce Dr. Paul. Drew?
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for setting this up and give us all opportunity to listen and maybe catch the spirit of making history here in Iowa. And as all of you know, just 5 days ago, we had a very successful Ready, Ames, Fire money bomb, over $500,000 that was dedicated to our Iowa straw poll, which, by the way, is just 19 days from tomorrow. And nearly all that money came from hardworking folks outside of Iowa who are looking to us here in Iowa to do what they cannot do, and that is to vote for Ron Paul on August 13th, which is, again, just a few days from now. So these freedom-loving friends of ours, I think, have high expectations and confidence that we want Ron Paul supporters in Iowa can deliver the votes necessary to do well in Ames and show the country that Ron Paul is, in my opinion, the only candidate with the right message and character to revive our republic. So I challenge all of us Iowans to resolve within ourselves, each individually, to seize this historic opportunity. So starting tomorrow, to start asking even our non-political friends, those who tolerate politics but aren't necessarily activists, to ask them as a personal favor to come to Ames and vote for Ron Paul, and tell them that other supporters will cover the cost of their tickets. So if they just come and vote anytime between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., we will make sure that we can take care of the details and accommodate their presence. But the main thing, of course, is that they have the opportunity to participate in making history. And so, even though we've been visiting with Ron, a little bit of an intro that I really don't need to make, but one of the things I like to talk about Ron Paul is that he is an authentic, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree with me, modern-day statesman. And frankly, he's in a category by himself with an amazing record spanning over 30 years of legislating to shrink government, and really no other candidate comes close to his standard of actually doing what he says he will do. So I'm pleased to be a part of a campaign of a 12-term winning statesman, and I believe the only candidate who can beat Obama in the general election, and that is, of course, our own Ron Paul.
Ron Paul, thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay. Well, Drew, thank you very much, and I'll just give a little update about the campaign. You know, the one thing that comes up, I think it comes up every time an election year comes around, people, and some candidates too, they question, why should Ames be important? Why should Iowa be important? Why should New Hampshire be important? Why should these small states, be so significant? Well, the thing that I would dread and probably wouldn't be able to even compete is if the country went to do national attention. So you get big bang for the bucks if you can do well there, and if you can win it, boy, I'll tell you, it can give you a lot of momentum. So I just think it's a wonderful opportunity to show the enthusiasm for the freedom movement, and it's so necessary. That's the reason I stay in this. It's so utterly necessary for us to do something other than the same old things of spending and borrowing and printing money and regulating and taxing people. And I don't think this is just Obama, he's bad. He's made it worse. But this has been going on a long time. I mean, we shifted gears all the way back to Woodrow Wilson. I mean, that's when the income tax came and the Federal Reserve came in, the foreign policy changed. So then we lived, off our prosperity to the point where finally we had to live off borrowing. And now the borrowing is getting more difficult, and the debt is the big issue. The debt has, just brought us to a halt. So we have to really present our case for limited government. Fortunately for us who believe in limited government, we can also say, why don't we obey the Constitution? So we're on the side of the Constitution. We're on the side of American tradition. We're on the side of good economic policy. So our job is to make sure the people get that message so they can support us.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, we're on with Congressman Ron Paul at our Teletown Hall this evening. We're discussing the Iowa campaign for president. Dr. Paul is running for president in Iowa and obviously throughout the country as well. The big push we're making is for the Iowa straw poll in Ames on Saturday, August 13th. Dr. Paul shared a little bit about how important that is. If you do not yet have your ticket, please press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be connected to a live staff member in our Iowa office who can reserve that ticket for you, and then they'll send you right back to the call to hear Dr. Paul speak. We're connecting with literally thousands of people across Iowa, and it is vitally important, as Dr. Paul explained, that we have a good showing in the Iowa straw poll. Press 7 right now. You'll be connected to a live staff member who can reserve that ticket for you. and then they'll shoot you right back to the call. Dr. Paul, as we push forward a little more, one of the things that we've tried to do in Iowa is kind of build the backbone, and build the structure of the campaign. We've had county coordinators, county co-chairmen, people who can understand how Iowa operates and really build the campaign structure, just like a regular campaign. How important do you think it is that we have that structure, and then in addition to the young people on college campuses and social media and things like that, that we have solid people willing to help and willing to volunteer?
Well, if you don't have it, you don't have a real campaign. And I have to admit that I was more hopeful 4 years ago, but we didn't have the organization that we have now. And it continues to build, so we're way ahead. But also, Drew and others have told me, they keep tabs on exactly what I'm doing, and they tell me that I've been in Iowa many times more than I was the entire campaign last time. So I know the importance of getting in there and talking to people, meeting. I've agreed to go and meet the very, very many of these small groups of people they like. But the staff has told me that they're so pleased because the very, very small groups I agree to meet with aren't very, very small. We get nice numbers out, so they've been impressed, and that just helps us. It helps us build this momentum, and I've been very impressed with the numbers in the organization, by each county, and this to me is fantastic. So the staff is doing a great job out there.
Yeah. And if you're just joining us, we're on the call with Ron Paul. We're hosting a teletown hall. We're talking about the Iowa Straw Poll in Ames on Saturday, August 13th. If you have not yet reserved your ticket, you can press 7 on your phone right now, and you'll be routed to a live staff member who can reserve that ticket for you, and they'll put you right back in the call. I know we have a number, Dr. Paul, a number of our county coordinators on the line, and we actually have a contest going for county coordinators specifically to recruit people. Basically, for those county coordinators who can recruit at least 5 people, we have a special signed edition of Liberty Defined that you'll sign for them. If you recruit only 5 people, that's for everyone who grabs their friends, grabs their neighbors, anything like that. All you would need to do when you get your ticket this evening is tell the staff member who's answering that you want to use your name as the promo code, or we can put that in for you later. That's not a problem. And for the top 5 recruiters in the entire state, we'll have tickets to the Iowa Straw Poll or Iowa debate 2 nights prior. Those tickets are actually sold out. There's no other tickets available for individuals, but the campaign has accumulated a few of them, and we're willing to give those to the top 5 recruiters in the state. So if you have friends, you have family, you have neighbors, they're going to come out, support Ron Paul, press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member. And just tell them, hey, I want to recruit people. I have some friends. I have some family. I want to get those prizes. So those are some incentives for people who can recruit a little bit more. And Dr. Paul, you mentioned the close, proximity of the vote. You mentioned that there was a straw poll in Louisiana a couple of years back where it was literally 1 vote made the difference. And for those people who maybe be a little bit more involved in the Iowa straw poll and a little bit older, they'll remember that not too long ago, there was actually a tie in the Iowa straw poll. There was actually literally a tie in the Iowa straw poll. So if you're on this call and you don't think your vote makes a difference, and we have literally thousands of people we've reached out to in Iowa, I can tell you right now, if everyone on this call came out and supported Ron Paul, he would win this straw poll overwhelmingly. And we want to have a good showing in Iowa. We really want to have Dr. Paul be competitive. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, if you think you support Ron Paul but you don't want to make the trip to Ames, I can tell you it is vitally important. The amount of good press that we can get from this and the amount of support that Ron Paul can continue is absolutely vital. So the Iowa Straw Poll is in Ames. It's on August 13th, which is a Saturday. You can press 7 to be routed to a live staff member who can reserve that ticket for you, and they'll put you right back in the call as well. Dr. Paul, as we kind of end here and follow up with some final words, the amount of work that you've put in, obviously, it goes without saying that you're a sitting congressman, you're still able to make your votes, and you're still able to, campaign around the state. You're going to be here in Iowa tomorrow, you're going to be in Ames, and you're going to be in Cedar Rapids. We have a lot of events that you've been here literally every week. How do you think that that plays with other campaigns? I know there's a lot of campaigns that aren't here even that often. How do you feel that people really get a sense of your message? Do you feel like it's a constant every time you're here? Do you feel positive feedback?
Yes, and as the time has gone on, I meet more people that weren't necessarily involved 3 or 4 years ago. For a while, it was sort of the same people over and over again, but now it's the new people coming in. It's the people who were sort of mainstream. Somebody kidded me the other day that they said, "Ron Paul, looks like you're going mainstream." And I said, well, maybe the country is moving in my direction, and we're all going to be mainstream. So, however, our numbers are growing. But I want to, as we close, Steve, I want to compliment you for your hard work and the staff out there, and certainly Drew has done a great job, and all the supporters have been around for so long. That is just great. But we see this as being very important. One thing I've done over the years, whether it's my congressional races or whatever I've done, I have always been reluctant to put any pressure on my family because, I just didn't feel like it. I wasn't going to say, do this, do this. So I was always very reluctant to, but they were always quite willing to do it, and they were very much involved. My wife and the kids were involved in all the campaigns. But they're very interested in Ames, and they're getting excited. They think it's going to go well, and they want to encourage everybody. So they've gone out and rented a bus, and there's somewhere between 20 and 25 members of my family that will be driving up there, I guess, on Wednesday of that week to be there to encourage the voters. But I want to thank everybody, those of you who are listening, encourage you to come out and let's keep working hard because we have a couple weeks to go.
Yeah, now Dr. Paul, as we close, you mentioned your family is taking a bus. If you've not yet gotten your ticket to the Ames Straw Poll on August 13th, in addition to all the food, entertainment, ability to vote for Ron Paul, we've got custom merchandise. The campaign is offering bus transportation directly from your county to Ames and back at no additional cost. So literally for $10, it includes everything. It includes a bus ride to Ames and back on an air-conditioned bus. It includes free food. It includes family entertainment. It includes free merchandise. It includes the ability to have full access to the fair, and includes, most importantly, the ability to vote for Ron Paul. So again, for the thousands of people that are on this call this evening, we've got live staff members working on a Sunday night specifically to help you out. Press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member. They can reserve that ticket for you. They can give you information on the bus. They can give you information on the ticket itself. And for those who are county coordinators or want to recruit more people, if you can recruit 5 friends and send them to our way, we have a free Ron Paul signed book, Liberty Defined. And if you can recruit so many that you're the top 5 recruiters in the state, we'll have a debate ticket for you to the Thursday night debate, where I can assure you Ron Paul will easily outwit his opponents without question. Again, press 7 right now. You'll be routed to a live caller or a live staff member who can take that call for you, and they'll help you out. They'll get you that ticket. It's $10. It's all inclusive. You get a bus ride from your county to Ames and back. You really cannot beat that. And if you're thinking, well, I want to support Ron Paul, but I don't know if I want to go that far, you're going to be on a bus with Ron Paul supporters. We really have a chance to make history, literally make history. If Ron Paul, were to come up just short, you don't want to be that person who sat at home and said, wow, I really could have made a difference. We want you to do that. We want you to come. Press 7 right now on your phone. Like I said, bus transportation, merchandise, food, family entertainment, it's all included. A staff member will help you out right here. They'll get you that information. And you really have a chance to make history. And that's not something we should take lightly. Drew, I have a question for you. Drew Ivers, our Iowa campaign chairman, is on the call as well. Could you just speak for a quick second, and then I want Dr. Paul to expound upon it, the difference that you see from the support in 2007 to now, and how that's grown?
Well, thank you for that question. That's a great question because it is dramatic. I remember in June of 2007, the polls in Iowa had Ron Paul's name recognition really close to 0. And so we came in with an unknown candidate in Iowa in June of 2007, and by January the 3rd, just a few months later, we had a triple tie for third place. As many of our listeners recall, Huckabee won that thing by a pretty big margin, and then a pretty big spread, and Romney came in second. And then there was a 12-point gap, and we had Ron Paul, John McCain, and Fred Thompson with a close triple tie. And so we moved that quickly with a very small beginning, and actually, like I said, a no-name beginning. So that is a testimony to the message and the messenger. And to grow that rapidly tells me, from the political experience I've had over the years, that people are listening. You can't move that quickly. And so now comparing that to this year, now we have a very well-known candidate with a message that has been proven to be effective, and we're growing on top of that. I'm pretty optimistic that there is a great awakening politically going on in this country. And with the economic stress that we're all experiencing, it's a testimony of what Congressman Paul has been experiencing and been witnessing to others in terms of the political impact of the failed policies that we've had, both foreign and domestic.
Yeah. And if, again, as we kind of close the call, we want to thank all of our Iowa residents for being on the call. Dr. Paul, Drew Ivers, just a couple more minutes as we close up. If you haven't got it yet, like I said, if you press 7 on your phone right now, you can be routed to a live staff member who's literally sitting in our office on a Sunday night, specifically just to help you get this ticket. A $10 ticket you're able to reserve by pressing 7 on your phone right now. You'll get a full day's pass to the event, food, transportation, special campaign merchandise you will not get anywhere else, and a bus ticket, bus transportation on an air-conditioned bus directly from your county to Ames and back that evening at no additional cost. Absolutely free or absolutely included. Again, if you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you out with that. Please do not think that your vote does not matter. Like I said, if everyone on this call right now were to get that ticket, or even probably half of the people on this call were to get that ticket, Dr. Paul would really shock a lot of people at the straw poll. So if you press 7 on your phone right now, please press 7. You'll be routed to a live staff member. They'll help you out. They'll get you that ticket. Like I said, an air-conditioned bus, free food, family entertainment, the Ron Paul tent. Going to have a lot of fun, but we really can't do it if we don't have the support. And luckily for us, we have the grassroots supporters and the people who are genuinely dedicated to the cause that other campaigns simply do not have. Other campaigns, they have to buy their way through, through X, Y, and Z, and they have to do things, and they have to compromise their principles. And Dr. Paul has never compromised his principles as long as I've known him, and certainly much longer than that in the years that he's been in Congress. So your vote really does make a difference, and we're really asking everyone to come out, support Ron Paul. He's done so much for us. Let's help him out here. Please press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be allotted to a live staff member in the office on a Sunday night trying to help you out. We've got $10 tickets to the straw poll. It includes everything you need: bus transportation, food, entertainment, music, all of that. We're going to close up the call this evening. I'd like to thank everyone for being on the call. I'd like to thank Drew Ivers, our Iowa campaign chairman, and Ron Paul. We'll close this up. Drew, before we end, could you speak just for a minute on the importance of the straw poll, and then I'll ask you to turn it over to Dr. Paul. And Dr. Paul, if you can make a last personal pitch to the supporters on this call. Okay. Like I said, again, if you press 7 right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who will help you out in our office, get you that ticket. And Drew, could you speak a little to that?
Yeah. Yes, I can, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to challenge us all a little bit with what we're obviously up to here, and that is doing very, very well at the upcoming opportunity with a little bit of history. And it was on a Wednesday morning in April the 19th of 1775 that about 70 American Minutemen and about 700 British soldiers met at Lexington. And a shot rang out, heard round the world, and the first birth pangs of our freedom left 8 Americans dead and 10 wounded, with, by the way, no British casualties. Well, in comparison to the world events that we're used to today, this seems quite small and insignificant and maybe barely a beginning, but we all know the rest of the story. And now, today here in Iowa, the Ames straw polls, to many, seems quite small and insignificant. And frankly, 99% plus of Iowans will not attend unless you get them there. And if you do that, get them there, and allow the rest, then we will be able to write the rest of this story, which indeed can make history. So for our children's sake and for those around the country who are counting on us here in Iowa, let's not let this opportunity escape our grasp. And I believe that with it, and we have within our power, as Steve has said and we have reiterated, to actually make history. So bring your friends to Ames. Do not let time or travel or cost get in the way. We just need from you committed names on a list, and we will do the rest. So for details, go to our website, iowaforronpaul.com, and get the details. And one last thing, and Steve already mentioned it, I'll do it one more time. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, Ames, Iowa, Congressman Paul will be sharing his vision of prosperity and peace and restoration of our republic. And then at noon at Cedar Rapids. So again, for details, go to the website iowaforronpaul.com and get that information. So with that, Dr. Paul, you get the last word. We are appealing for people to seize the opportunity that I believe fate has laid in their hands, to grasp it, and even though the significance may not appear apparent to us at this moment, I do believe it is upon us. So, your final comments, if you would.
Yeah. And thank you. I think you've stated it very well. And I think the important thing about the Ames straw vote is that legally it has no meaning because it's a straw vote. But when you compare the importance of it, because not everybody votes, a small percentage are coming out, its value is much greater than it might seem because it's a nationally known straw vote. So it's very, very important. And all I can say is thank everybody who's listened in. Hope we have convinced you to come out. Maybe I'll see some of you tomorrow. But it's something I have been working on for many, many years to promote this cause. And it's delightful to know that the momentum is building. And I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, Drew, our Iowa campaign chairman. Thank you, Ron Paul, Congressman Ron Paul, presidential candidate, for being on the call. That is the end of our call this evening. Again, if you have not yet gotten your ticket, or reserved your ticket, if you press 7 on your phone right now, we have literally 15 staff members in our office in Iowa working on a Sunday night just to help you reserve that ticket. It includes bus transportation to Ames from your county. It includes food, entertainment, a full day's pass, and the ability to vote for Ron Paul, most importantly. Again, press 7 on your phone right now if you have not yet reserved your ticket. Dr. Paul impressed the importance on it. Dr. Paul is much too humble of a man to ask directly. I'm asking directly on his behalf. We really need your support. And if you think that your support does not make a difference, or if you're just going to wait until the caucus, we really need to have a good showing at the Iowa straw poll. Again, if you press 7 on your phone right now, press 7, you'll be routed to a live staff member. They'll walk you through the process. They'll reserve your ticket for you. They'll get you a spot on the bus if you need it. They'll make sure you have your full day's pass, your campaign merchandise, and it really is a fun event. It's a great place to bring the family. It's a lot of family events, a lot of events for children as well. It's a very family-friendly atmosphere, and you include bus transportation, a free ticket to the event, merchandise, food, entertainment. You can press 7 on your phone right now. We've got some staff members in our office this evening working on a Sunday night just to help you get those tickets. So it's really important that you do that. And as we close the call here, I want to thank again Drew Ivers, our Iowa campaign chairman again. We want to thank Dr. Ron Paul as well for being on the call and for really supporting our freedom and taking the fight to the establishment, so to speak. Again, press 7 right now. I'm going to keep drumming it into everyone's head because we have a lot of people I know that are on the line, and our call lines are filling up. But press 7 right now, and we have a staff member that will get you that ticket. They'll get you on that bus. They'll get you all the information you need, free food, entertainment, music, ability to hear Ron Paul speak on Saturday. It's August 13th, which is a Saturday. It's very important. Like I said, Dr. Paul, we had a straw poll in New Orleans about a year ago. Dr. Paul lost by a single vote to Mitt Romney, one single vote. And in a straw poll about a dozen years ago or so, a little longer than that, the straw poll was actually a tie, and actually an exact tie. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, and if you think it's just enough to support Ron Paul in the caucus or support Ron Paul at home, I can tell you we really need as many supporters as possible to come out to Ames on August 13th, which is a Saturday, from about 10 to 4. We'll have bus transportation running from every county in the state to Ames and back, all included in your ticket. For only $10, the Republican Party is selling tickets for $30. We're selling them to supporters at a discounted rate of only $10, and it includes everything you need, including an air-conditioned bus, including other supporters as well on the bus, merchandise, free food, free entertainment. I cannot tell you guys how important it is that we have a good showing at this event. So again, you press 7 right now on your phone. You'll be routed to a live staff member who can get you all that information. They'll help you all with that, take care of all the questions you have, and get you taken care of. So with that, our call will be ending right now. I want to thank everyone, especially Drew Ivers, our Iowa campaign chairman, and Ron Paul, obviously presidential candidate and current congressman who fights for our freedom on a daily basis. And I want to make one last request to everyone on the call that if you have not yet reserved your ticket, it is vitally important. You do not want to wake up on Sunday morning and hear the results of the straw poll and find out that Ron Paul was only a few votes away from making history. That's not something any one of us want to deal with. So please press 7
to document that tie that you just spoke of. I looked it up. It was 1976. Bob Dole and Phil Graham both had 2,582 votes exactly tie. So one vote can make a big difference. In this case, between first and second.
Literally, yeah. And Drew gave you the exact numbers, so that was an exact tie. So it's really important that you come out here. We still have a few hundred people that are still on the call. I know are listening. Even though Dr. Paul has to step out as he has a series of events tomorrow morning. But if you press 7 on your phone right now, or you go to iowaforronpaul.com, you can get that ticket. You can reserve your spot. Bus transportation on an air-conditioned bus directly from your county to Ames and back. We'll pick you up. We'll drive you there. We'll feed you. We'll give you some campaign merchandise. You'll get to meet Ron Paul, get to have your book signed, get some bumper stickers. We'll send you right back on the bus. We'll drop you off in your county. It's not too long of a day, only about 10 to 4. It's a Saturday. It's August 13th. If you can press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you out, who can get you that ticket. We've got 15 staff members or so in our office in Iowa, literally sitting there waiting and working the whole day today just to help you get these tickets on a Sunday night. So they're here to help you out. We have a lot of supporters all throughout the state. We still have a few hundred people on the call that I know want to help out Dr. Paul. So if you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who will help you. We'll get you out, get you on the bus, get you some food, get you entertainment, give you the ability to vote for Ron Paul, and it's really going to be a great time. So Drew, do you have anything left as we close?
Yeah, I could, Steve, to reiterate something Dr. Paul said and something you said. I know a lot of our supporters, sometimes they may feel like they're all alone because that's a traditional classic position, and for people who have not been active for very long. But there are a lot of Ron Paul people out there. For example, the last 10 cities that we've stopped at, Mason City, we had 150 people show up. Dubuque, 180. Council Bluffs, 160. Des Moines, 180. And Marshalltown, 90. About 170 at Cedar Falls, 80 just a few weeks ago up in Fort Dodge. So my point is this: if you think there aren't other Ron Paul people out there, you're wrong. Your neighbor right across the street might very well be a Ron Paul person just waiting to be asked to participate in some way to contribute to making this a better country and restoring the liberties and the freedoms and our republic back to what it was in years gone by, when we were a growing, prosperous, a peaceful, and healthy nation. So that is Ron Paul's message. There are people listening to it, and I shared with you some of the numbers. So they are there, and we need to get them to Ames.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we still have a couple hundred people still on the call. So if you have not yet reserved your ticket, please do so. You can visit iowaforronpaul.com, or if you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member working in our office on a Sunday evening who wants to basically just help you out. We've got an air-conditioned bus that will pick you up from your county. It will take you to Ames and back. There'll be food, there'll be entertainment, there'll be family entertainment as well. There'll be merchandise. There'll be the ability to meet Ron Paul, basically, and it's just a great time. And it's really vitally important that Ron Paul has a good showing at this straw poll. It's absolutely important. Drew touched on straw poll of not too long ago, a few years back, that was literally a tie, an exact tie, about 2,000 more than 2,000 votes.
It was 2,582. They were the top. The number one and number two ended up being the tie.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think your vote does not matter, I can tell you it absolutely mattered. If one person would have voted differently, it would have mattered. So if you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you get that ticket. They can help you come to Ames on August 13th. It'll be an air-conditioned bus, free food, transportation, merchandise, the ability to vote for Ron Paul as well. And pressing 7 on your phone right now will route you to that live staff member. We've got a special Iowa website, iowaforronpaul.com. It's really very, very important. And, how have you found people's reaction to be so far regarding the straw poll? I found a lot of people were interested in attending, and it's just been a matter of getting them those tickets.
Yes, it's so well known, of course, in Iowa. The presidential caucus process is so predominant in the press and in people's minds, and so a lot of people are aware of it, and a number of them would be interested in going if they knew a little bit more about it, in particular if they had a friend or a neighbor who gave them some details and specifics and encouraged them to come. It's like a lot of things. A lot of people are potential involvers, but no one really pushes them that extra little bit to get them involved, in this case, to come to an event. And so I really encourage all of our listeners and supporters just to push yourself a little farther beyond your comfort zone. And for those of you who don't feel comfortable asking, ask anyway. And even pull another card, and that is ask people for a favor. Say, look, even though you may not be all that interested, just as a favor to me, because I think it's the right thing for the country, get in your car and go to Ames, and you can vote anytime between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., so you do not have to spend the whole day there if you do not want to. All you need is a ticket that we can provide, and we're talking about that, and an Iowa driver's license, and that will allow you to participate and be an active citizen and participant in the Iowa caucuses. And like Dr. Paul said a number of times, oh my goodness, your vote is at least a 100x impact. Frankly, you probably wouldn't take to argue that it's a 1,000-time impact. That really is not out of the ballpark, and no one's really done the statistics, but it is that important. We are that leveraged in Iowa. And one other thing before I forget, for those of you who may have just joined us, let's not also forget that Dr. Paul will be here in the morning in Ames. It's on the west end of Ames. You exit on exit 144 off of Highway 30 at South Dakota Street, and we're at the Hilton Garden Inn in the morning in Ames. And then at noon, we're over in Cedar Rapids and at the Marriott on Collins Road. And again, that's on the north side of town in Cedar Rapids for those of you in eastern Iowa. At noon, Marriott Hotel, 1200 Collins Road. So in addition, of course, obviously our main push tonight is the Ames event, but bring your friends, for those of you who are within driving distance, to Ames to get them motivated to show, for tomorrow morning with Ron Paul's visit, to get them motivated to show up at the Ames straw poll on August 13th. It can be a great recruiting tool for you, these two events tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as we finish up the call, there's still quite a few people in the call listening to Dr. Drew Ivers discuss some of the things regarding Ames and Iowa and Dr. Paul being in town. If you have not yet reserved your ticket to the Iowa straw poll on Saturday, August 13th, you can press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member working in our office on Sunday evening. They can reserve that ticket for you. It includes a full day's pass. It includes campaign merchandise. It includes transportation on an air-conditioned bus, which will pick you up from your county directly to Ames and then drive you back that evening. It's very important that we have a good showing at this event. It's absolutely vital that Dr. Paul has a good showing at the event as well. Like I said, you press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member working in our office on Sunday evening. They can reserve that ticket for you, and it really is vital that Dr. Paul has a good showing. And it really is important that Dr. Paul kind of show the establishment that his ideas have caught on, that he has had a solid campaign structure, and that he is able to basically just bring people together who understand the Constitution, understand conservative principles, and want to have a solid Republican represent them, whether they be Republicans or independents, that they basically want a candidate who's going to respect the Constitution and the rule of law. Again, if you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member in our office on Sunday evening who can help you reserve that ticket in Ames. The date is Saturday, August 13th. It runs from about 10 to 3. You can drive to the event and leave whenever you want, or if you'd like to take a bus, we'll have air-conditioned buses running from your county to Ames and back. We'll pick you up, basically. We'll drive you home. We'll have plenty of free food, family entertainment. We'll have special campaign merchandise that you will not be able to get anywhere else except at Ames, specifically only for people who purchase a ticket. So it's really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get some special commemorative Ron Paul merchandise as well. So again, press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you out. Our Iowa website is iowaforronpaul.com. You press 7 on your phone right now. There'll be a live staff member who can reserve that ticket for you. There really is no reason not to attend. Like I said, if you support Ron Paul, this is probably the most important thing that you can do to help Ron Paul. And we really need all the support that we got. So we really need you to help us to come out, or basically, just we don't want a bad showing here. Dr. Paul will be having a good showing in this event. Will really invigorate the campaign and it'll really put Dr. Paul on a path to success. Drew, one more thing. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to insert. Sometimes we take the qualities of our candidate, Ron Paul, for granted. Maybe I think a lot of us don't really fully appreciate how unusually excellent he is as a statesman. He is, in my opinion, a modern-day Thomas Jefferson. His statesmanship is so profound that we're not used to that kind of leadership at the presidential level, for starters. And his unusual record of never voting for a tax increase, never voting for an unbalanced budget, never voting to give the executive branch more power, never voting to regulate free enterprise. These are unusual traits of an exceptional leader, and Ron Paul is very much a very strong, classic presidential personality and leader. On top of all of that, of course, a record that spans over 30 years of consistency. Former Treasury Secretary William Simon once upon a time made a comment that in Washington there's a gang of 534 plus one. So there's 534 congressmen plus 100 senators, and Ron Paul is the only exception. So what a candidate we have to promote for the presidency of the United States, and he has the character to do exactly what he says, which of course is what we need. So sell these traits to your friends. I know you all know that, I just shared with you, but many of your friends do not understand how rare and exceptional he is as a leader for a free people.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why it's so important. And even though, again, we still have quite a few people on the call, so we'll still share some ideas about Iowa and how things are going out here in Ames. If you have not yet reserved your ticket, I'll drum it into people's heads as much as I can. Please press 7 on your phone right now. We'll have a live staff member who will help you reserve that ticket. They'll get you that spot on that air-conditioned bus, which will pick you up from your county. It'll drop you off in Ames, then it'll pick you up from Ames and drop you back off that evening. The day is not too long. The whole day runs about 10 to 4. There'll be free food there. All the meals will be included. There'll be entertainment. There'll be family activities as well. You'll get a bunch of campaign merchandise that you will not be able to get outside of Ames. And you'll get to meet Ron Paul himself. If you have not yet had a chance to meet Ron Paul, that's really a tremendous honor to talk to someone who so understands the Constitution and is really, as Drew said, never wavered on his principles, never voted for a tax increase, never voted for an unbalanced budget. We have so few people, especially politicians, that stand for those things. And Ron Paul differentiates himself because he is not a politician. He is a statesman in every sense of the word. And someone like Ron Paul really comes around not only once in a generation, once in a lifetime. So if you have not had a chance to meet Ron Paul or hear his message or get his book, please come to Ames. It's vitally important that we have a good showing there. If you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who can help you with that, get you that ticket, get you a spot on our air-conditioned bus, which will pick you up from your town, from your county, drop you off at Ames, and then drive you back to Ames, or back to your county that evening. All meals are included, entertainment, campaign merchandise. Again, press 7 on your phone right now, and we'll get you that spot. And with that, Drew, we're going to close the call. Is there anything you'd like to say to close us?
Well, just one topic, and that is electability. I know a lot of people, as we talk to them about Ron Paul, that seems to surface frequently, but it's kind of ironic because I do believe after 35 years of political experience at a volunteer level here in the state of Iowa, that Ron Paul's credentials make him the most electable candidate against Obama in the fall, not the least, for two reasons. One, it polarizes. It creates a stark difference between an Obama presidency and a Ron Paul presidency as compared to the other candidates running in this primary, because Obama will be able to pick them off one after another because they too quickly and too often side in with his general concept of big government. And so Ron Paul provides that exception and distinction and has been tried and proven through media, the crucible of hot fire that they put down on him with his stands of limited government, that he's been tested and proven to be able to support his position. So again, the electability of Ron Paul is an asset, and you have to talk to your friends about that and let them get past this primary perception and get to the general election, because that's the main objective. The main objective is to win in November, not to win a primary, and we want to nominate somebody that can accomplish that goal.
Absolutely. And again, as we end this call this evening, we want to thank Drew Ivers, Iowa campaign chairman. I want to thank Ron Paul for being on this call as well. Congressman Ron Paul, running for president, going to be here in Ames and Cedar Rapids tomorrow. If you have any questions on that, you can press 7 on your phone right now, and a live staff member will help you with that. We'll also reserve you a ticket for the Iowa straw poll in Ames on Saturday, August 13th. It is absolutely vital that we have a good showing. And I know a lot of people were on the fence about attending. I know a lot of people who said they will support Ron Paul at the caucus, they'll support Ron Paul with the yard signs. But really, how this event goes, Ames is really a test of strength for all the presidential campaigns about who can organize, who has the best message, and who has the most energetic supporters. And if Ron Paul comes through and he has a good showing here, it's really going to energize the campaign. So we really need a good showing, basically. It's very, very important. I know a lot of people who, again, have said they'll put out a yard sign. They will come to the caucus in February. They'll tell their friends. But really, the showing at Ames is really important. Yard signs do not vote, and good intentions do not vote. We need as many people as possible to get to this event. to come to Ames. Again, it's Saturday, August 13th. If you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member who is literally working in the office at 9 p.m. on a Sunday evening just to help this call be successful. And I know we have quite a few people still on the call who maybe have not gotten their ticket yet. If you press 7 on your phone right now, you have a live staff member who will help you. They'll reserve that ticket for you. Bus transportation on an air-conditioned bus. It'll pick you up in your county. It'll take you to Ames. It'll take you back that evening. Your meals will all be taken care of. Your entertainment, family entertainment, merchandise. You'll have the ability to meet Ron Paul himself. You have the ability to get an autograph or get a book signed. And it's really going to be a fantastic event. But we really cannot do it without your support. And, our intentions may be good, but there's other campaigns working just as hard as well. So we need to show them that not only is Dr. Paul right on the issues, but he has a campaign and he has a structure behind him that can win on principle and then win at the polls as well. And that's vitally important. Drew, as far as the dynamic you've seen, you mentioned a couple of the other races. You mentioned a straw poll that was a tie, maybe 15 years ago. You mentioned, obviously, you involved with Dr. Paul's efforts in 2007. What's really different about this year? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of more supporters. How would you compare this year's, campaign structure, campaign chairman, and our county coordinators? How do you feel that's played out?
Well, that's a great question, Steve. From this perspective, the field of candidates, and everybody acknowledges this, there's no big surprise here, is perceived within the Republican ranks. Of course, this is what we're talking about. The Democrats aren't having a primary because Obama will be the nominee. But within our ranks, there's less enthusiasm than we had, for example, in 2008, 2000, 96. And I'm expecting, frankly, a slightly smaller total turnout for all candidates on August the 13th. And the reason I say this is because it can easily be a plus for us. In other words, if the total turnout is lower, which I think it will be compared to last time, then our numbers become more significant. So it's a greater opportunity for our numbers to be more effective with a lower turnout. So this general downturn, to repeat what I just said, the general downturn of general interest is really an advantage for us to capitalize on by getting our people out. And we work harder and more effective with our dedicated supporters and those who will get them out. It will pay extra dividends in this cycle versus the previous cycles.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, it's really important. Like I said, and Drew has been a part of a number of campaigns over the years, from this campaign, obviously, with Ron Paul's campaign in 2007 and 2008, other campaigns in the past. He knows how important it is to have a good showing at Ames, at the Iowa straw poll. If you have not yet reserved your ticket, you can press 7.
To give you an example of the importance, and I know people understand this in generality, but I can tell you in '96, straw poll, Buchanan was running, and I ran his campaign, by the way. I chaired his campaign. He came in third, a very strong third place. And that launched him into New Hampshire, and he actually won New Hampshire. So the strong showing, even though he didn't get first place, the strong showing that he had in the Iowa straw poll that year launched him into first place in New Hampshire. So it's pretty amazing how that works, simply because perception of electability and winnability affects a lot of people. So again, that emphasizes the importance of doing our homework in the next 19 days after tomorrow, and it's such a short time window of opportunity. We need to seize it. We really need to seize this opportunity and capitalize on it for the benefit of our country and the contribution that we can make far more than most citizens throughout the other 49 states.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't reserved your ticket yet, we still have some people on the call. Press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who will walk you through the process. We have air-conditioned bus transportation that we're including in the ticket price. It's only $10. The Republican Party sells them for $30, and our $10 ticket is is for supporters. It includes free food, transportation on the air-conditioned bus. We'll pick you up in your county. We'll take you to Ames. We'll drive you back home that evening. It only runs from about 10 to 4, so you'll be back home in plenty of time. Ron Paul will be at the event. You'll have the ability to meet him. There's plenty of family entertainment as well at the event. If you press 7 on your phone right now, you'll be routed to a live staff member that can reserve that ticket for you and get you that spot to Ames, get you on the bus if you need it. You can drive as well if you'd like. There's plenty of parking at the event. Really is a fantastic time. It really is a good showing. It really is important. So please press 7 on your phone right now, and you'll be routed to a live staff member in our office on Sunday evening who can reserve that ticket for you. It includes everything I mentioned: food, bus transportation, campaign merchandise, the ability to vote for Ron Paul, and specifically as well the ability to meet Ron Paul. If you've never had a chance to meet Ron Paul, this is your opportunity. It's really going to be a fantastic event. But we cannot do it without your help. We really cannot. So if you're on the fence, or if you have questions, if you want to know some more about the Iowa campaign, you want to know some more about the Iowa straw poll at Ames, press 7 on your phone right now. We've got a live campaign staff member that will talk with you, share some information with you, let you know about the event, let you know about some details on it, basically how it's going to work out. And we'll get you that ticket, like I said, an air-conditioned bus from your county to Ames, back to your county that evening. It's really going to be a fantastic event, but we can't do it without your help. If you think that Dr. Paul is just going to have a good showing by random people showing up, unfortunately, that's not the case. Dr. Paul's message is fantastic. We know that he's right on the issues, but we want to show the establishment is that we know Dr. Paul is not only right on the issues, but that he can be successful, and that he has a strong campaign behind him. He's got a campaign chairman that has been involved in this before. He's got very dedicated staff members who are well-skilled in campaigns and are very hardworking, and a lot of volunteers that really understand what they need to do to help Ron Paul be successful. So again, press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who can walk you through the process, reserve that ticket for you, help you out, get you on the bus to Ames if you need it, get you back as well. You can drive. We have plenty of parking, free food, free transportation included in your ticket, merchandise, the ability to vote for Ron Paul, and the ability to meet Ron Paul himself in Ames. So basically, it's really important that we have a good showing.
Drew, to help people understand the role of Ames, we've talked about it on this phone call, but to summarize it one more time, the Ames straw poll is the springboard to the caucuses. Now, the caucuses themselves this coming year will be February the 6th. So that's the big shootout, so to speak, winning the caucuses themselves. And that's where, for example, I mentioned Pat Buchanan back in '96, where he launched from there to win in New Hampshire. But the Ames straw poll is that launching pad to doing very well in the caucuses themselves in February. And we do not have to, in the world of politics, you do not have to be the number one. If you just have a very strong showing, that will get Ron Paul where he needs to be. So don't be discouraged like, well, we can't win if you're thinking that, so I don't want to try. First of all, that's certainly not out of the picture. And secondly, just a good, strong showing will accomplish our objective to get Ron launched into a good caucus in February, from there to New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada and other places to prepare for the finale, which is basically Super Tuesday in 2012, which really will not be all that far down the road. It's less than a year away.
Yeah, great.
So this whole nomination process, will be completely done and on Super Tuesday next spring of 2012.
Yeah, again, it's really important. Drew, thank you for being on the call. Drew Ivers, our campaign chairman in Iowa. My name was Steve Bierfeld. I'm our executive director here in Iowa. If you have not yet reserved your ticket, you can get your ticket. We've got a live staff member who can help you out. You press 7 on your phone right now. You can be routed to a live caller, a live staff member who will help you out. They'll get you that ticket. They'll get you on the bus if you need it. We have bus transportation included in the price. We have food. We have family entertainment. The ability to vote for Ron Paul, the ability to meet Ron Paul as well. It's very important that we have a good showing in this event. So please press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who can get you that ticket and get you on the bus or get you a ticket and get you a spot at the event. Free merchandise, free food, transportation. It's going to be a fantastic event. We really need all of your support. If you're on the fence, again, please press 7 on your phone. Be routed to a live staff member. It'll help you out. It'll get you a ticket to this spot. It's really important that Dr. Paul has a good showing. I can't impress that upon enough people. So with that, Drew, we're going to end the call. And I want to thank everyone for being on the call right now. As we finish, again, press 7 one last time. You're the live staff member. Get you that ticket. Get your spot. Reserve your bus transportation or reserve a spot for you to come to Ames, free food, the ability to meet Ron Paul. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call this evening. Drew Ivers and Ron Paul have ended. My name is Steve Bierfeld. I'm our Executive Director, the Iowa campaign here in Ankeny. If you have not yet gotten your ticket to the event, to the Ames Straw Poll on Saturday, August 13th from 10 to 4, please press 7 on your phone right now. You'll be routed to a live staff member who's working in our office here in Ankeny. Basically, you'll be able to get a transportation spot. You'll be able to reserve your ticket. You'll have the ability to meet Ron Paul. As a personal favor to Ron Paul, please do come out and support him at the Ames Straw Poll on Saturday, August 13th. It is absolutely vital that Ron Paul has a good showing. We really cannot do it without the support of all the voters and all the people in Iowa that understand the Constitution, understand true limited government, and how we can make this a reality. Dr. Paul has been fighting this battle for many years, and we have basically picked up the slack from other candidates, other politicians who don't stand for those things. And Ron Paul has always stood for those things, basically. He has always stood for true limited government and the Constitution and humble foreign policy, civil liberties, the defense of life, liberty, and property. And there's really no other candidate that's willing to do that. So if you press 7 on your phone right now, we'll be able to help you out. You'll get a live staff member who can reserve that ticket for you to the Ames Straw Poll, be able to get you a spot if you need it on our air-conditioned bus, which will pick you up, go from your county to Ames and come back. Free food, free merchandise, the ability to vote for Ron Paul in the straw poll, as well as the ability to meet Ron Paul himself. So it's vitally important we have a good showing. I want to thank everyone for being on the call this evening. We really appreciate it. We try to run these calls every so often. We've got a lot of outreach that we do to reach voters in Iowa, basically to just let them know about Dr. Paul and his message. Let them know what's going on and how we have a candidate who can really spread liberty and really just defend the Constitution. And that's what we're trying to do at the Ames Straw Poll on August 13th. It's a Saturday. It runs from about 10 to 4. It's going to be a fantastic event. You'll have the ability to meet Ron Paul, the ability to vote for Ron Paul in the straw poll, which is just as important as well. Free food, free entertainment, family atmosphere, bus transportation on an air-conditioned bus if you need it. You'll have the ability to get there to meet a lot of other supporters of liberty who believe in the Constitution and true limited government principles, and specifically the ability to vote for Ron Paul in this straw poll, and that's really what it comes down to. We need a great showing. So I want to thank everyone for being on the call. As we end, you can press 7, be routed to a live staff member who will talk with you, get you that ticket, reserve your spot for the Ames straw poll, and I want to thank everyone again for being on the call, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.